Novalands is a delightful little base building and automation game where you are a space explorer tasked with helping other explorers to set up a colony that will eventually send vital resources back home to Earth. Along the way, you will explore other islands with various biomes that are connected to your starting land and even a space station in orbit above the planet. Controls in the game are relatively simple. If you're playing on a keyboard, you have the WASD keys and a jetpack boost dash on spacebar. Nothing too complex here at all. Right mouse button lets you use your harvesting tool to manually gather resources early in your adventure, and left fires a laser rifle that isn't great at the beginning of the game, but it gets the job done with local aggressive wildlife. There's a quick key for adding materials for a recipe to machines, and it will also replicate the settings on certain objects, for example setting up farms so you're not manually clicking the same settings each time. Once you've got your first collector robots built and set them to work via a manager antenna, you will promptly be drowning in sticks and berries and want to throw down a few storage pads and set up your first simple furnaces to make some charcoal. From there, it's all about progress, 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 and Novalands provides this at a relatively swift pace for this style of game, perhaps too swift for some. I was approaching the end game content after a little less than a dozen hours of play, but rather than make the game feel small or short, I found the experience very satisfying and the overall rate of progress was just right for a nice cozy game. I did mention a laser rifle, and there is optional combat in the game as well. Early on, your biggest threat is the burbies, a bird-bee hybrid that produce nutritious eggs. Hidden around the islands, you will also find a trio of boss monsters with badge rewards for beating them both violently and peacefully, whichever you prefer. I found them a little overwhelming to fight initially, but once I had a few upgrades under my belt and a fighting robot buddy by my side, even I found the fight almost too easy to be really satisfying. They also go super quick, fitting with the overall pace of the game. I know I keep saying the pace was fast, but I want to be clear here. I never felt rushed by the game. It just wasn't really a grind to progress as it usually is in so many other games. In that way, it reminded me a lot of Forager. Between a skill tree, equipment upgrades, a tech research tree, and a cute little museum to donate to, there's a nice amount of content to progress through. Novaland's simplistic visuals are really cute and bright. I enjoyed them. They were not overwhelming on the eyes, and the music is also pleasant and enjoyable, but I did find that some of the sound effects were a little on the sharp side, sometimes to the point that they would make me flinch or startle me. Fortunately, there's an option to adjust each of these separately, and once I turned the volume down, I still found them unpleasantly sharp, but I didn't have any trouble playing for hours at a time that way at least, even losing track of time on more than one occasion. Overall, I had a blast playing Novalands, and I look forward to collecting every tiny morsel scattered across the game. More than once, this title surprised me with a new level of content when I thought I had seen it all and was close to wrapping it up. This game is absolutely a golden genie lamp worthy title in my book, and I think any fans of cozy, casual, or collecting games will feel the same. I'm hoping to see some DLC content for this title someday, or perhaps a sequel with even more content. Either way, I'll be following this one closely and keeping an eye on what these devs do next.